Hey guys, Shaun here. Today I'll be profiling my Rikka deck. This is post King's Court, so there's a few new cards in the deck, so let's get into it. To begin with, we use triple Rikka Petal. Rikka Petal can search your deck for any one of your Rikka monsters, and during your opponent's end phase, if she's in your graveyard, you can special summon her to your field if you control no monsters or if all your monsters are plant types, which only 2 monsters in this deck are not plant monsters, and those are weird monsters in the extra deck. So 99% of the time you're going into Rikka Petal during your opponent's end phase. Next up, triple Primula. So Primula can special summon herself from the hand if one of your plant monsters is tributed. She's level 4, which is very important for going into your Rikka Queen Strenna Xyz monster. And she can increase the level of 2 of your monsters on the field by 2, which can come up in some situations. Next up, 3 copies of Mudan. She can special summon herself from the hand by tributing a plant monster. And on summon, if she's summoned by the effect of a plant monster, which includes her own effect, you can search your deck for any Rikka spell or trap. Next up, 1 Erica. So Erica is like your Kalute or your Honest Neos. She boosts up one of your plant monsters by 1,000. And if she's in the graveyard, if you tribute a monster, you can special summon her from the grave. Next up, 3 Snowdrop. You can special summon her along with another one of your plant monsters in your hand by tributing a plant monster on the field. And she can also target one of your plant monsters on the field, and all your monsters on the field become that monster's level that you targeted. Okay, next up, 1 Hellebore. This is my replacement for Mardell, the Generator Boss of Light. If you have that card, you should definitely replace Hellebore with it. But Hellebore is good on her own. It's another level 8 monster, 2600 attack, which is your highest attack value of all your main deck Rikka cards. And if she's in the grave, you can tribute one of your plant monsters on the field to special summon her. If one of your monsters is targeted, you can negate the effect by tributing a plant monster from your field or hand, which can come up sometimes as it's a bit important. That's all the Rikka monsters in the main deck. Okay, now for the generic plant support, we have triple Lonefire Blossom. You can tribute any plant monster in the field to special summon any plant monster from your deck. Next up, triple Evil Thorn. You can tribute itself to special summon 2 more Evil Thorn from your deck, and you're usually going to use your 2 Evil Thorn to go into your link monster Aromaseraphy Jasmine. Next up, 1 Rose Lover, 1 Rose Girl, and 1 Rose Princess. So Rose Lover, if she's in the grave, you can banish her to special summon a plant monster from your hand. Rose Girl, you can special summon her from your hand if a plant monster leaves the field. And also, if a plant monster is on the field and she's in the grave, you can add her back to your hand. And then a Rose Princess, you can discard her from your hand to add the field spell, White Rose Cloister, from your deck to your hand. And also, if your opponent controls monsters and you don't, you can special summon her from your hand and then she's counted as a tuner. Okay, and finally, Fairy Archer Ingunar, Rosaria, the Stately Fallen Angel, and Talaya, Princess of Cherry Blossoms. So Fairy Archer Ingunar, when she's special summoned, you can special summon a level 6 or higher plant from your grave. Rosaria, you have to banish a level 7 or higher plant monster from your hand and grave to special summon her, and once per turn, she can negate the effects of all the face-up cards in the field. And then Talaya, she protects all your plant monsters from card effects while she's on the field. Okay, and then finally for the monsters, we have triple Ash Blossom. It's just the most versatile hand trap. Pretty much a good choice against any deck. So yeah, now into the spells. Triple Rikka Glamour. Rikka Glamour searches any one of your Rikka monsters, and if you tribute a monster when you activate the card, you can search your deck for another monster, another plant monster, with the same level as the monster you tributed to activate the effect. Okay, double Rikka Flurries. So anytime you tribute a Rikka monster, you can force your opponent to tribute one of their monsters. So even if your opponent's monster can't be destroyed by card effects, because it's forcing your opponent to tribute, it bypasses that. Double Super Solar Nutrient. So you can tribute any one of your level 2 or lower plants, which is, in this deck, it's only going to be your level 1s. And you can special summon a monster that's 3 levels higher, or a monster that's any level lower than that from your deck. So you can use that on your Rikka Petal or your Evil Thorns to bring out any level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck. Next up, White Rose Cloister. So you can search this card using Rose Princess, and what it lets you do is you can special summon a plant monster from your hand if you control no monsters. And finally, 1-for-1, Foolish Burial. So 1-for-1 can get you your Petal or your Evil Thorn, and Foolish Burial, you have many uses for that. You can send Petal from your deck to the grave, so that during the end phase you can get it back. You can send your Rose Lover, so you can have a free special summon from your hand. Or you can send your Erica, so you can special summon her if you tribute a monster. That's it for the spells. We'll go on to the traps now. Double Rikka Sheet. So you can negate the effects of one of your opponent's monsters, but if you tribute a monster to activate the effect, you can take control of that monster. Double Rikka Tranquility. You can special summon a Rikka monster from your grave, but if you tribute a monster to activate the effect, you can special summon a Rikka monster and a plant monster from your grave. Okay, that's it for the main deck. We'll go into the extra deck now. Onto the extra deck now. We use double Teardrop. She's your boss monster of the deck. She's a rank 8 XYZ. So you can attach one of her materials to target one monster your opponent controls, and you can tribute that monster. And this is a quick effect if Teardrop has any plant monsters as material, which 99% of the time is going to be a plant monster as material. Next up, double Kanzashi. So Kanzashi can protect one of your monsters by tributing another plant monster. She can also, if a monster is tributed on the field, you can basically monster reborn any one monster from your grave and negate its effect and turn it into a plant. Next up, double Rikka Queen Strenna. So she's your rank 4 in the deck, which is why Primula is so important. What she does is you can attach a material and add any one of your Rikka cards from your grave back to your hand. Also, if she's tributed, you can special summon any level 5 or higher plant XYZ from your extra deck using her as material. So she can get out any one of your extra deck XZ cards, which is very important. Next up, Sacred Tree Beast Hyperyton, Alsei, and Orea. Hyperyton, if you activate a monster spell or trap effect during your turn, you can attach any card from your graveyard that's the same type to Hyperyton. And during your opponent's turn, if they activate a card effect that's the same type as a card that Hyperyton has as material, you can attach that material to negate the effect. And the only way you're going into him is using Rikka Queen Strenna. You don't have any level 9s in the deck, so that's the only way to go into him. Alsei is level 8 you can easily go into. You can mill a card from the top of your deck, and if a card is sent from your deck to the grave, you can send one card your opponent controls back to their deck. So Orea, you can attach a material. You can look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. You send any plant monsters you find there to the grave, and you can send cards from the field back to the deck up to the number of plant monsters you sent to the grave. So that can be very good at getting rid of a bunch of cards that you can't get rid of otherwise. Okay, for the final XZ card, Fairy Knight Ingunar. So it requires 3 level 6 monsters. So it has an effect where you can detach it to a material and return all cards in the field back to the hand. And you can't respond to the effect, so it can be very good in clearing out a nasty board your opponent has. Yeah, that's it for the XZ cards. Next, onto the only link, double Jasmine. So it requires 2 plant monsters as material. Any monster she points to cannot be destroyed by battle, including herself if you have more life points than your opponent. And you can tribute one monster she points to special summon any plant monster from your deck to a zone she points to. Also a very niche effect that rarely comes up, if you gain life points while she's in the field, you can search your deck for a plant monster and add it to your hand. Okay, and finally for the synchro cards, Perialis, Empress of Blossoms, Black Rose Dragon, and Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. So they're all level 7, so the only way you're going into them is one of your Rose cards, so Rose Girl or Rose Princess, and a level 4, which is your Primula. So Perialis, you can special summon a plant monster from your hand or grave in defense mode. Black Rose Dragon, you can just nuke the field of all cards. And Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, if your opponent special summons any level 5 monster, you can return to the hand. So with your Black Rose cards, you can't go into them too often, because a lot of your cards in your deck restrict you from going into anything but plants. But they are good cards to have in the situations where you haven't restricted yourself yet, and you want to nuke the field or set up Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. So now onto the combos. Okay, onto the combo now. It's a 3-card combo, Rikka Petal, Primula, and either Lonefire Blossom or Evil Thorn also works. So we begin by normal summoning Rikka Petal. We will searching for Mudan. We will tribute Rikka Petal, special summon Mudan. We will go chain 1 Mudan, chain 2 Primula. She can special summon herself from the hand because we tribute a monster. And then Mudan's effect goes off, we can search your deck for a Rikka Spell Trap. We will search for Rikka Glamour. Next up, we can activate Rikka Glamour, search for Snowdrop. We'll activate Snowdrop's effect by tributing Mudan, special summon Snowdrop and Lonefire Blossom. We'll activate Lonefire Blossom's effect, tributing itself to special summon Evil Thorn. We will tribute Evil Thorn to special summon 2 more copies of itself. Next up, we will link with both our Evil Thorns into Jasmine. We'll activate Snowdrop's effect, targeting Primula. So both these guys come level 4. We will Exease into Rikka Queen Strenna. We will detach a material from Strenna, which will be Snowdrop, to add a Rikka card from our grave to our hand. We'll search for Rikka Glamour. Next up, we will activate Jasmine's effect, tributing Strenna to special summon a plant from the deck. We will special summon Fairy Archer Ingunar. Then we'll go chain 1 Ingunar, chain 2 Strenna. Using Strenna's effect, we can special summon a level 5 or higher Xyz from our extra deck using her as material. So in this case, we will go into Teardrop. You can also go into your Sacred Tree Beast Hyperyton using that effect as well. Okay, so chain 1, Fairy Archer Ingunar, special summons a plant monster from the grave that's level 6 or higher. We will special summon Mudan. Next up, we will Exease into Kanzashi. So at this point, we have Rikka Glamour in our hand, and we have 2 extra cards if we're going first. Okay, so that's it for Rikka deck profile. So Rikkas are a plant archetype, which means that you can use any types of plant support. So the deck is very versatile. You can add a lot of things, you can change up a lot of stuff. But I think this is a very solid, pure build of Rikkas. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments.